everybody, I sound like a broken record, but it's another beautiful day. You can hear tools in the background. The neighbors are still picking olives beside me. The sun is shining and it's glorious out here. And I should be working in the garden, but instead we're gonna go back inside the cave house because I'm a woman on a mission and I really wanna get to work on this feature wall. Seriously, look at these blue skies. It's basically perfect, but to the cave. Welcome to the darkness. So this is my project for the next couple of weeks. I know that I've been working on the shower, but I have to wait for this to dry before I can continue on the other side, which is my next step. And so I thought I would like to get this corner and hopefully this wall finished so that I can maybe think about putting something cozy to sit on in this corner over the winter. I started working on this in the last video, so you've seen some of that already, and you'll notice where all of the clay has come out and fallen to the floor. And there's still much to do up there, but I'm basically going to focus down here for now. And my plan is to chip out as much clay as I can reach without it falling in my face, sweep it all away, and then I'm going to start packing the wall back up with lime. I don't really want to chip out all of the clay the whole way up without first repacking some of this. There's some pretty sketchy looking holes in there, so repacking it with stone and lime will help re-strengthen the wall by replacing the clay that I've taken out. These stone walls are crazy thick and incredibly well built, so I'm not really concerned about the structural integrity, but it just seems like the wise thing to do to work on one section at a time. So I still have a bit of chipping to do. I'm going to work on that, and once that's done, I'll check back in again and I'll go over my entire plan for this wall and this corner, and I think it's going to be a really, really cool feature of the house. So this might be a fine opportunity to try to explain why I'm clawing away this clay just to replace it with more clay. I'm trying to uncover the really big holes in the wall so that I can repack them with, I'll probably use lime because it's easier for me to get lime than it is for me to get clay. But you could use clay and stones just to fill in all the gaps, just to make the wall stronger, give it more thermal mass, and yeah, just to make everything feel a lot more secure. Plus, I'm going to be building up clay in this portion of the wall and also on the other side. And rather than having it stick to this brittle, dusty stuff, I'd rather claw this away as much as possible and replace it with my straw, sand, clay mix that's probably a lot stronger. So I'd rather have it getting into the wall a little bit, sticking into the wall, and bonding to itself rather than just bonding on the surface with this flaky, crumbly stuff. So that's why I'm chipping with reckless abandon. I find this job really enjoyable, so I'm just gonna carry on doing this. I'm gonna pull up a little stool, get low, get that stuff at the bottom, and then the next step is to pack it with lime. Which reminds me, I actually have to go check on the lime. I neglected it for a very long time. I thought it was gonna dry out. Turns out it just got soaked by the rain. I whizzed it up again, and now I've promptly neglected it again. So I was concerned that it was gonna dry out, but it looks perfect. So this is ready to go whenever I need it. And now it's time to chip some more. And you'll see me again when this entire bottom part is complete and we're ready to move on to the next stage. So the bottom part is done, and I'm up on the ladder because I got a little carried away. And I just wanted to push on to the next step, and that's going to be marking out the most beautiful pattern or path between the stones, because this center part of the wall is going to be pointed with the stones exposed, and this part of the wall will somehow follow the lines of the stones, and there'll be clay on that side and the same on the opposite side as well. So I feel like I can't really see the lines of the stones until I claw out some of the dirt. So I'm making my best guess, then I'll get down back on the ground, take a look, and try to find the best path to follow. And the reason I want to try to do this now is because on this side, I'm going to have to try to make spaces between the stones, and it's going to be a bunch of extra work. Whereas on this side, it doesn't matter if the stones are touching because I don't really need to put anything in between them because the whole thing is going to be covered up with clay. So if I can identify the easier side versus the harder side now, it'll just save me a lot of work. So I'm still creating a mess and I'm still enjoying it. And the little kitties have come in to join me. Hi little dude, I know. And it's actually getting pretty late, so I do kind of get into the zone when I do this work, and though it is, as I mentioned before, very beautiful out here, I'm still enjoying myself. So back to the cave I go, back up the ladder, and these guys are in here to keep me company. So the sun is going down and I'm getting tired. I'm going to call it quits pretty soon. Oh my, that is quite... that is not a good place to sit. That is quite a remarkable sunset out here. I'm happy I poked my head outside. This is stunning. And the sunsets up here at my place, they're not actually even usually this impressive because the sun kind of tucks its way behind the mountain in sort of a weird spot for me, but yeah, some seriously beautiful skies right now. Lovely, but I have to go back beyond the hammock and back into the house because I need to mark some stuff with some chalk. And so the idea for me right now is to take this piece of chalk and I guess do my best to mark the most logical way down with the stone. That might look the best. I don't know. Maybe I should have picked a different color, but I won't really know until I get to the bottom what this looks like and what the best path might be. It's kind of hard to tell from close up. It seems obvious when I'm farther away. Maybe something like that. I'm not sure this color is the best way to go. Let's try blue. And from the bottom, I can already see that I don't really like the path that this is taking up here. So let's make it take a turn this way. Can go around this rock here. Can come down here. Around this. Maybe this way. Or maybe this way. I want to have space to have clay walls that are going to have shelves in them, so I don't want it too narrow over here. I want to be able to have some fun stuff happening in amongst all of this. Around here. Let's go here, there, around this way, maybe back out here, and then just down. Or maybe it goes in. So this needs me to stare at it for a little while longer before I make a decision, and I probably also want to do the other side by the stove as well, so I can see how they sort of match up with their non-symmetry or whatever. So I've got some thinking to do, I've got some staring at the wall to do, and I'm probably too tired to do those things, believe it or not, so I'm gonna clean up the mess that I've created. I'm gonna clean up the mess I created in the shower, have a shower, and yeah, call it a night on work, and contemplate things, and see you again tomorrow for some more dirt chipping and hopefully some lime packing as well. I took the day off today, went into town, did some laundry, and I'm going to friends for dinner, so I'll be back at it tomorrow. But I just wanted to show you this beautiful sky. And then over here, it's another gorgeous sunset as well. It's just really, really magical. I don't know what it is about this season, but I haven't seen sunsets like this. I don't know, maybe since I've been here. This is really, really beautiful. Or maybe it's just that I spend a lot of time inside my house at this time working on the computer. So this is a reminder to come out and enjoy the lovely evenings. But back inside I go, because I'm trying to do a bit of computer work before I head out tonight for dinner, but the mess remains, and I'll be back at this bright and early tomorrow. It's another magical day, but I'm going back inside the house to tidy up my mess. So I'm in here creating more dust and mess, and I still don't have a plan for the route that I want the feature wall clay section to meet, but I'm working on a ridiculous file on the computer to allow me to try some different plans and see what I think looks best, because it's hard to visualize just by looking at this pile of rocks. But what I do know is that the central part will be the feature wall. I know that in here will definitely be pointed. So I've got a bucket of lime sitting outside, and it's been there for a while, and I'd love to just get it stuffed into these big holes and start to work on the parts that I know are the feature wall while I decide where the seam will go. So I'm just going to continue tidying up this middle section of wall, and then I'll be back very soon to start sticking some of these holes with lime. So I'm just spraying this wall to try to loosen some of the dusty stuff and get it out of the spaces, so that when I put the lime in, it's sticking to the rock and not sort of sticking to dusty clay. So it's not going to be perfect, but at least I can get rid of the most obvious stuff. This is another weirdly satisfying job. I really love this stuff, pointing, stuffing the walls. It's just very slow and kind of weirdly therapeutic. It's like a meditation, and I really enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to working on this. So I'm going to just start with the most obvious holes in the wall. This part isn't going to be anything artistic. It's really all about just trying to get the lime as far back into the hole as possible, and then also stuffing in some other rocks so that it can kind of just mean that I use less lime, and it also strengthens the interior of the wall as well. It sort of acts as an aggregate within the lime. At least that's what I'm told. So I'm going to find the biggest, baddest holes, and that's what I'm going to get started with. It's so crazy for me to think about these old stone buildings and just how many of them there are in this area and all around Portugal. How many stone bridges there are, how many stone castles and giant buildings, the cobblestone roads. It really is a remarkable feat. Knowing how heavy these stones are and how difficult they can be to work with, it just does blow my mind. I love working with stone. I love seeing these buildings, and I'm really excited that I can try to help bring it, I guess, back to life and, yeah, make it a bit stronger, hopefully. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to keep the feature wall and sort of honor that as well. I was just going to plaster right over it. I don't really love the stony look inside of buildings, but I feel like having a feature wall element as opposed to doing the whole thing just with stone on the inside is a nice compromise. I love the stones on the outside, and I'm really excited to have this feature wall here and also the little one in the kitchen. Stone is just such a great material. It's so versatile, even though it is challenging and heavy to work with. But I feel really lucky to be in a place where this is a really common material, it's plentiful, it allows so many great opportunities for being creative. And yeah, I really look forward to building more with stone in the future. I think the foundations that I do will all be in stone, starting with this elusive tool shed. Plus, I'd love to do a stone circle window somewhere. That might be a bit ambitious, but you know, I've got the time and I've got the interest in learning, so that could be something fun way down the road. And yeah, lots of things, lots of things. It's just a wonderful material. So for now, I'm focused on the wall, packing lime in, making it stronger, and making this feature wall a beautiful part of my house. And as I do that, yeah, just kind of think about the history of these buildings and just how amazing it is that people made them in the first place. And I guess that's just me saying, I love stone, I love working with it, and I feel very fortunate to have this little stone building. So this is actually a very important part of this process and something I want to take my time with. Anytime I'm re-embedding sort of the face rocks back in there, I want to make sure I've got a decent amount of space between the rocks, or at least the ability to chip some space away. And I want to make sure the rock looks nice, because as I embed this into the lime, that's basically where it's going to stay. I also want to be pretty careful at this stage about not getting too much lime onto the face of the stone, or at least cleaning it off if I do, because it gets really hard to clean later on. And I obviously don't want this rock face having lime all over it. I want it to look really nice. And the last thing I need to be careful of is leaving a good enough depth in here for the next level of the pointing, which will be the final pointing. So I want to take away this glob of lime here and push what I have in a little further, so I have enough to repack the wall, enough to hold the stone in place, and then enough space to put the next level of pointing in. So this stage is incredibly fiddly, incredibly time consuming, but also very enjoyable for me. I love it, as I've mentioned many times before. So I'm just gonna keep on going with packing the wall and end the video here. I feel like there's been a bunch of stuff in this video, and I've made strides, I've pushed forward, and I've got ideas for how to continue on with the line of the wall. And I'm working on a very crazy computer file, which I'll share in the next video, which will help me visualize that. I also have to put in some conduits for wires. I need to think about the shelves, what material I want them out of. I'm wondering if maybe I'll do some nice olive shelves or continue working with the Douglas fir. I'm not sure. I've got a lot of drawing in my future, a lot of staring at the wall, and a lot of daydreaming, which is what I love too. I love it all. So I'm going to carry on, and when I check in again with you, I'll hopefully have most of the wall packed, and we'll be ready to move on to some of the other creative touches like the clay and the shelves. So thanks for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed this little feature wall bonus video, and I'll see you Friday as usual for some more wall.